Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Sarah Punt, and I would like to introduce Huma Ahsan, running for Circuit Court Judge, Branch 1. As we begin, please give an opening statement about the professional, educational, and civic background you have which prepares you for this office and why you are running for Circuit Court Judge.
Thank you. As you said, my name is Huma Ahsan, and I'm running because, frankly, over a year ago, I never thought I would be running. I've never run a campaign in my life, but with what we're seeing in the federal government, particularly the federal government overreach, I think it's important that we have a steady and steadfast hand at the realm of our Dane County Circuit Court. Our Dane County courts are, for your viewers, are the third branch of local government. And today they are elected, our judges are elected by the people. And I feel that when we look at all the candidates, I feel that I am the most qualified. I bring the depth and the breadth of over 25 years of experience in the legal field. I graduated in 1999 from Stetson College of Law. I started my legal career at Legal Aid as a legal aid attorney over 25 years ago, representing people who are unhomed and low-income people with benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits. I also, at Legal Aid, represented domestic violence victims, people who were fleeing sexual violence, sexual assault. At Legal Aid, I was able to obtain a $85,000 grant, a VAWA grant. VAWA stands for Violence Against Women's Act grant, that allowed Legal Aid to perform divorces, custodies, protection orders. And then from there, I developed an Indians into Law program with the Turtle Mountain Community College, and I was the Chief Justice of the Turtle Mountain Court of Appeals. After a devastating fire destroyed the court, I had to rebuild the court system. I had to hire judges, reconstruct court proceedings, and issue orders and judgments on cases, particularly divorces, custodies, criminal issues. Those are all similar things that the Dane County Circuit Court would be performing. From there, we moved and we came to Madison about 20 years ago, and I worked at the law school at the Great Lakes Indian Law Center as the deputy director, mentoring students and increasing tribal justice systems. From there, I was Ho-Chunk Nation's legislative attorney, and for the last 15 years, I own and operate my own legal firm here called Madison Immigration Law, where I represent immigrants, families, businesses, international students, and all sorts of people who some are seen and some are unseen and unheard. But throughout my 25 years of legal service, I have represented individuals seeking visibility, seeking dignity in the legal justice system. And with that, that's what I would bring to the bench, is my wisdom, my experience, my background in law, and the variety of different fields. And because of that, I feel I am the most qualified candidate for this position.
How will your experience assist you in working with people from different backgrounds who will come before the court?
Well, that is my whole career. In 25 years, I have worked with a variety of different types of people, from indigenous people, people who are unseen and unheard, indigenous people. One of the things that we talked about previously was the grant, the $85,000 grant that I received, that I helped draft for legal assistance of North Dakota to do protection orders and custody orders for women and children who are running from domestic violence, sexual violence. And it's important to note that that experience, women of color are 4 times more likely to be victims of sexual violence. So I have worked all of my life to seek visibility. And particularly in the last 15 years, I have worked with people from every part of the world that have come to Madison and Dane County in southern Wisconsin trying to build a better life. So that is my whole life. And I would bring all of those experiences that I have working with different cultures, different people, different indigenous groups, and the compassion that I have from my own experience being an immigrant, being a person who is, has always been the other in the room. I bring all of that to the bench.
In the arena of criminal law, how do you think about balancing the rights of the accused with the rights of the victims?
Right. Yes, that is a difficult question because the defendant, any defendant, when they are charged with a crime, our courts and our laws presume that they are innocent until proven guilty. Proven guilty. So the burden of proof rests with the government to prove each and every element of the charge in the criminal arena. Because if we shift that burden to, let's say, the defendant, then what ends up happening is that we end up having wrongfully accused people go to jail for possibly crimes that they didn't commit. So that's the fundamental tenet of our criminal justice system, is that people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Now, the rights of the victim, once someone is proven guilty, the victims have the right to come and appear and give impact statements, of how did this crime personally affect them, and that will be taken into account in sentencing and once guilt has been proven.
What do you see as important and innovative ideas for programs to help with the overtaxed criminal justice system and to avoid recidivism by offenders?
Yes. One of the big things, I have gone and I've talked to so many people who have previously been incarcerated. For example, about a month ago, I talked to a person in Madison. He had a felony conviction approximately 20 years ago, and now he is the CEO of a company, but yet he's still on parole today. He cannot leave the state of Wisconsin without getting permission. And even though he's built a multi-million-dollar company, he still has to go and check in with the parole officer. So some of these things, I would be looking at ending some of these, limiting the amount of parole, after someone is convicted, how long and length of that time that should be. I would want to look at increasing support for mental health and addiction issues, particularly increasing support to drug courts, and probably even trying to bring social service programs in, not after they've been convicted, but even when we're talking about setting bail. What are treatments that we can, if the person is willing to do treatment, addiction treatment, mental health treatment, housing issues, if we can bring those resources in when we're talking about bail, we would get them on a pathway of starting rehabilitation sooner.
How will you ensure that you remain impartial in practice and appearance while serving in this judicial office?
Right. As a judge, one of the judicial code is that as all judges, we are required to be impartial, and we are to avoid bias. And so one of the things that I will be doing is if there are any situations that I find myself, I will be recusing myself from any cases that would be that would be deemed that I would be deemed impartial or biased towards.
And what personal values will you bring to this office?
Well, one of the personal values that I think that I have is compassion. I think that and compassion and an understanding of a variety of different people. I have always strived my whole life since growing up. I have always been as I talked about, I've always been the other in the room. So it's very important to me that all people are heard and seen in my courtroom. So I will take the time to make sure that both parties, the plaintiff and the defendant, or the state and particularly the defendant, their cases are heard. People are seen. Those are the qualities that I think that I can bring.
And what would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
Well, I'd like to thank you for having me first. I want to say how historic this election is. I don't think that we've had a primary in Dane County for, I want to say, at least 15 to 20 years, where they had 3 candidates vying for this open seat. And I take this responsibility very seriously. I am running because I believe in all of us. I believe justice should be fair. I believe that our courts should reflect all of the beauty of Dane County and should be inclusive. And I'm running because I want to represent all of us. I know that a lot of us who are watching today are feeling targeted, feeling unsure about our system. I want to be the type of candidate that represents all people, all of us who are seen and unseen. I want people, particularly like my daughters, who have watched their rights been taken away, particularly when we look at the Supreme Court case of Roe v. Wade. They're wondering about their bodies. They're wondering about if they're going to have body autonomy. I'm running for my son. He's a person of color. And I'm running to make sure that he can walk down the street without feeling fear or suspicion. I'm running for people like my father and my husband, who came here as immigrants and who have given everything to Dane County to build a better life. But most of all, I'm running for all of us. And I'm running to make sure that our courts represent all of us. So I would encourage anyone who's watching to vote on the February 17th election and the April 7th election, and to go to humaforjudge.com and check out our website, become more educated about this election, because it is a historic election. Your vote is your voice, and I want all of you to exercise your vote, because this is a vote for who is going to represent you on the Dane County Circuit Court.
I want to thank Huma Ahsan for speaking with us, and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the primary election is Tuesday, February 17th, and the general election is Tuesday, April 7th. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.